What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Trading Live with Bubba. And there's not a lot of trading going on. There was a potential buy a little bit ago, but again, at the end of the day, no big deal. And of course, there was supposed to be a big announcement this morning on tariffs, and I tried to tell everybody that announcement was nothing more than is already priced into the market. And I think one of the things you have to learn about the markets is that a lot of the information is already pre-priced. If you know there's a big announcement coming in and you assume that they're bullish, you saw a big rally. We were way up this morning. And of course, if the news was priced in, which I would have assumed it to be, then you would expect a sell-off. And I think that we've now reached, first, let's just take a peek here and see if there's anything for us to do. And right now, there's really nothing for us to do. So if you take a look at the markets in general, okay, if you go back to market theory, that the bulls live below the 200-day, the bulls live above the 200-day moving average and the bears live below. Well, here's the 200-day right here. Okay, so again, you would want to be a seller at any opportunity until it breaks back above. So anytime it approaches back up towards, right now we're 5,800, but in the S&P 5720, 5730. Especially if you get a spike or something up on what is expected to be news, you'd want to be a seller. Okay. Same thing for the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ did hit the 200-day moving average. Okay. And came right off of it. Hit it this morning right there. So these are little things to learn besides what we try to do every day when we trade together, which is the shorter term stuff. But from a longer term thing, I think the markets are probably headed south. Now they could rally, but again, that's why you use stops. That's why you have exits, and that's why you have reasons to get out. From our little short term perspective, this was a potential. Now again, I didn't make this trade, so I typically don't discuss trades that I didn't make. But from a practice standpoint, this was probably a buy down in here. This was probably a buy. Again, it was right before I was getting ready to come here. But again, it's not, we're not trying to, so here would have been the buy here, and they would have been slightly profitable, but there's really such a lack of activity in the overall market right now that, it sometimes is not worth getting overly involved. And I think that's something that you have to, you have to take for what it is, hey, there's not a lot going on. So is it better for me to trade? Or is it better for me to watch? And I think sometimes it's better to observe. We do have a couple of open trades. I think 3 from when we talked on Tuesday. And right now, the open trades, Microsoft is right there. We're slightly profitable in Microsoft. Now, again, whether, it can go anywhere by tomorrow. These are all for tomorrow's expiration. Meta, we're right back now. We're back into the money a little bit. Okay, they were way against us earlier this morning. And of course, XYZ. That's a winner for sure. But at the end of the day, again, they're not all going to be wins. Okay. And it's not always going to be immediate, and when you use the spreading model that we use for the short term, where we're not actually taking a position, we're just selling the premium, those trades you really have to kind of let play out. Okay. And, again, they win, they lose, but you're taking enough profit on the wins. Okay. That's what we want to look at. But let's just go back here and make sure that we're not missing anything that would potentially show up. The euro currency, a little bit of a pop, but there's not enough juice in the rally for me to want to get involved. Again, here we're just kind of hovering now towards the lows. The notes, not much going on. Again, there's just not much real excitement to get involved in right here. Obviously I wish there was more for all of us. But let's take a look at our board and see what we can find anything else. Now, the spreads we're going to put on now, if we find any, will be for next week. Okay. And of course, Apple, still really nothing to do. It's still just in mid-range. You want to be a buyer down around here. Okay. And you want to be a seller up around here. So where are you? You're in the middle of nowhere. So whatever decision you make, you're taking a guess as to where it should go. Okay. It still looks like it wants to potentially go lower. So again, not really exciting. Amazon, again, getting closer. You know, if it got up another few bucks, I'd look at it. But again, I'm not in a hurry in these overall markets right now to get involved. Okay. I don't see, you know, I do have an opinion. I am looking to get short. Okay. The indexes, I am short some of the indexes from higher prices. But again, I'm not overall in the short-term stuff. If it doesn't fit what I want to do, I'm not interested. Coin, need a little bit more of a rally. Again, we have to, we're not in a high probability spot. So again, I ask, why would I want to get involved? Crowd, once again, we didn't do it the other day. We were looking for a little bit more of a rally. We didn't get it. It would have worked out. But again, it's easy to say it would have worked out. But when you're really in the trade with real money, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't feel very good. Meta, which we are in, again, we're in the 597.50, 600. Okay, it needs to come down a little bit. You know, right now it's probably about even. But again, I'm not looking for even. I'm looking to cash it. But it was much higher this morning, so hopefully it'll continue to come down. Google, we never got the chance. This move came on Wednesday. We didn't get a chance to sell it. We didn't get a chance to buy it. But this would have been a buy or a put sale down here. And this is actually the method we're looking for on these charts. We're looking for the blow-off type trade on these charts. Okay, and now we're getting a big rally right now, so maybe we'll get a sale now. Let's stay with this short term. There must have been some news that just must have come out, because certainly we are getting a pretty good charge here. And again, we're not getting a charge enough for us to do anything, but we are getting a little bit of a charge, and you know, maybe it'll give us an opportunity. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But certainly, you know, the Dow just rallied about 60, 70 points. The NASDAQ just rallied about 40. But again, it's not giving us enough action to want to get involved. So we're still going to have to sit back and wait and look for it and work on these opportunities. If they show, maybe the euro currency will continue. Maybe, again, there's a lot of maybes, but unfortunately, with the lack of activity, there really isn't a lot going on yet for us to want to jump in. You know, again, we have still very little time here on this bar, so there's not going to be a trade on this particular bar. Maybe the rally will continue and we will get a trade on the next bar, but in the meantime, we'll go back and over here, IWM, again, close. Okay, but again, I'd rather see it up near around 204, 205. Microsoft, which we're in, and again, we're short to 337.50, 340, so it's right there. It's slightly profitable at the minute, but I'm not going to add to it right now. MSTR, again, I'd like to see a little bit bigger of a rally. Nugget in the middle of nowhere. NVIDIA, got up to it. Would have been a chance to maybe trade it. You know, again, it is right where I would like to have potentially sold it. I did not, and I'm not going to recommend it now. The Qs right here would be something to certainly look at. Again, there's certain things that we're just too far away right now. SMCI just sits in the middle doing nothing. XYZ, we're already in. SPY, not where we'd like to sell it yet. Tesla, close. Win would be one to look at. Okay. We could look at Win, and they've already had their earnings. So let's take a look and see what this looks like. See if we get enough credit. That's the other issue. Okay. Is there enough credit to get? And Win for next week. Okay. So we want to sell call spreads. 87. Let's just do the 87, 88. If there's enough VIG in there, I doubt it. It's close. You know, again, you do it a few times for 43 cents. I'm going to go ahead and take that trade. Okay. And XBI, nothing. Zoom, a potential sell also. close. Okay, I'm going to wait and let it sit again. I'm not in a real hurry to get overly involved in any of these things right now. I think that sometimes it's just better to be patient and wait, and that's what I'm going to do. As we sit back and watch what's going on here, you can see there's a true lack of overall activity. Again, we would love to be trading. I'd love to be active, but certainly there's nothing for me to be overly active about here. We did get a nice rally though. Okay, I mean you can see the Dow rallied almost 150 points from the bottom here. This was our buy spot if we were going to trade it, and we did not. So again, we're not taking credit for a trade we didn't make. But this is the pattern you're looking for on either side. It doesn't matter. We don't care which side. We don't have an opinion. We're just looking for opportunities. And at the end, right now, again, it's pretty quiet. And we do have the win trade working. It did not fill yet. But overall, and I think if you just start to look for, other opportunities, and if we go back just to Google for a minute, and again, we weren't together, so there's nothing we can do about that. But if you see this on a trade, okay, anytime, this would be one that you would, if it was down, which it was, you'd want to look to be a buyer. If it happened to have been up, you would have looked to have been a seller. Okay, that is something that's almost automatic, even on a daily. Again, they work on all time frames, so it's something that you'd want to overly look for. And let's see if we're going to get anything out of this. It does not appear so yet, but again, we don't know. Again, another bar goes by with not enough volume. Again, that's the big key that we have to remember. We have to have enough volume. We have to have enough speed in the market to want to be able to go ahead and make that trade. Okay, because again, if you're not getting the emotional side of the trade, if your opponent, which again, remember, this is a competitive business, if your opponent is not showing emotion, then you're probably not going to get the opposite move that you're looking for. So again, you have to, these moves are based on fear and greed. And if we don't get it, then we just have to sit back and wait. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're sitting back and waiting. And the win trade did fill. Okay, just filled just now. Okay, so we have to sit back and wait and watch. And again, either we get a trade or we don't. But if we don't, then we're not going to force action, because there's no benefit to forcing a trade, because all you're doing is flipping a coin and saying, okay, I think this is going to happen or that's going to happen. And I think that's always a mistake to try to flip a coin here. I think you just have to sit back and be patient enough to wait for it, and let the market, decide for you. Let the market tell you where to go next. Okay. And then the other trade I did put on the other day was TGTX, which is, I believe, a loser at the moment. Okay. Still headed lower. I would consider putting this on again for next week. Okay. I did put it on Tuesday. I put it on for tomorrow. But I may put it on again for next week. Again, it is a little bit overdone, and the chart actually looks pretty good. So certainly I wouldn't have a problem with looking at that. I think there's just, again, things you have to, be aware of. And again, we have so little activity right now that it's very high. I'm sorry, some questions up there actually. Last Zoom you had mentioned option 200 contracts. Is there any screener to view more trader getting? It will help. You can use, the CBOE has a screener, okay, that will help you. Okay. They have a free screener that you can use. Thinkorswim has a free screener you can use. Basically the stuff I show you all the time has plenty of volume, so it's pretty good to use. I hope that helps. Hope that helps your question. Certainly would love to, share with you the ideas, and but all of these have plenty of volume to use. So I hope that helps for you. And again, right now we're just kind of waiting for a potential opportunity to show. and we're getting, the markets are getting a little bit of a rally, which is okay, but we need a little bit more speed and zoom here. You're welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for asking. But again, that's very, very important as well to what you're doing. And I mean, one of the trades that, again, I don't want anybody to get confused here. But if you trade futures and you trade options, I would consider selling the YM future or the MYM future. Okay, the micro, selling 6 futures, buying 5 options, 5 at the money calls for next week. That is a trade that I would consider doing because that's a neutral trade that can make money in either direction, just needs movement. So that's one I'd certainly be looking at. Again, we're looking for a little bit more juice and volume here. I don't know if we're going to get it or not. It's always the problem. But at the end of the day, I can't force the market to do what I want them to do. That's always the problem. Okay. We cannot force, we can only participate if they give us what we're looking for. But certainly I do a lot of ratio spreading. I love using the underlying, which in this case is the futures because of the margin requirement. So I would certainly sell. I'd even do the MES either as well. MES, sell 6 and buy 5. That's basically a delta neutral trade, which will expand in either direction if you get some movement. That would be something to look at, and we'll start working on those. Later. I don't want to get here in the last minute and get somebody stuck in a bad trade that they don't understand. But certainly, as we watch, again, there's really no speed to the overall market. Okay. I think you just have to, we just have to be patient to wait for it. We're certainly seeing a nice little bounce off of the volume that we did see there, but there's been nothing subsequently that has given us any reason to want to react past that. And I think that's important. Even crude. See, crude's trying to go up, but there's no volume. There's no action. So where am I going to go? I think that this is something that you have to recognize from a market standpoint, is that you cannot get the edge when there is no volume in the market, when there is no emotion to the market. It's hard for us or any individual trader to get the edge because there's no speed to this market. And especially in a market that is so much news driven right now, and it's so thin that they could go dramatically against you and stop you out and then go in your favor. So I think you have to be much more patient and relaxed right now as you wait for your opportunities. I'd love to trade a lot more, but I'm not going to force trades just because that's not what we do. That's not what we're looking for. I think that's important for you to understand. Again, it has to be this game is about patience, is about waiting for the opportunity and using whatever tools you can. And again, that's why we sell a lot of spreads every week, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to collect some premium and continue to build small profits while we're waiting for the bigger potential trades to show up. And that's very important to what we do, is it gives us opportunity. If we do it right, we wait for opportunity and we can make more and of course risk less. And I think that's very important for all of us to understand, that that's where the real money is made, is by being patient and being ready to go. So in the meantime, I wish we could add some more trades, but we did add win to our trades, and the win was for next week. We've got a couple expiring tomorrow, and I'll see you guys all on Tuesday. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. And remember, I do a Market 120 every morning, just a quick brief overview of what's going on. So check it out, and we'll see you next week.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.